Hello everybody, welcome, welcome. It is another fun day here at my Artful Adventures. Are you ready to go on another adventure? So when you say my Artful Adventures, I want you to be talking about your own, because everybody, you're not talking about mine, you're talking about yours, right? So welcome. This is another sneak peek at the printable for July, my free printable that goes out in the newsletter. I'm Christy here at my Artful Adventures, and I'm glad to have you here. While we are waiting for some people, we're not really going to wait. That's kind of that's a misstatement. But I know that we are going to have some people coming on. And while we are waiting for them, I'm going to send us out to another couple of places so that we've got some more people coming and joining us. Maybe if I can figure out what I'm doing, right? Holy cow. What in the world? I'm going to be able to do it. Okay, I decided the other day that if I do this from my phone, I think I can do it all at once. There we go. All right. I'll put us all in here into several places all at once. Okay, that was easy. Boy, I got to remember that trick, you guys. How in the world have I not really thought about doing that before? That's beyond me. I just don't know. So we have got that going on. I've got where I can see comments up and ready, and we are going to get started. So we've got, well, hang on. I can't see all my comments. Okay, now I can. Hey, Sue, how are you doing? I'm going to put us down here to the desktop. We're not going to be long, but I did have some other things I wanted to show you today. So in the newsletter, each week, we have a different part of the free printables kit that comes out. This month is Whispering Gardens, Adventures in Bloom. And so, you know, that's a fun thing. And so we've got lots of pretty papers with lots of outdoor, you know, flowers and all the good stuff, right? I'm going to put us down here to the desktop. I don't know why I'm so croaky all of a sudden. So here we go. Here is one of them. And so these pages, some of them are a full image. And those make great things to put on the back, and you know, you can use those for, you know, even just printing them by themselves and having them to, you know, use for some whatever you want. So I have another idea to use some plain ones for in another couple of days. What in the world? Hang on just a second. Oh, sometimes Messenger pops up into what I'm doing, and I don't really like it doing that. I've got a whole separate app that I use for that where I can see it and it'll pop up there and I can't hardly see it. Hey Karen, I'm Martha. We got the people rolling in. We're doing another sneak peek on the Whispering Gardens Adventures in Bloom printable set for this month. So if you're not familiar with it, it goes out in my newsletter. It's free, and so one section each week comes out, and so by the end of the month you have the complete collection for, you know, for July this month. This is what part of this is. So here's another pretty soft color full page image, and then this one we've got the garden gates. And then this week, as we have this week's segment of what's going to come out in the newsletter is going to be some pockets and things. And so I'm just going to cut this out, and then next week we're going to have like some journal cards, and we're going to start to add, you know, more of our fun things. I'm going to cut this out. I didn't cut it out yet, and this is not the full-blown thing that is going to be used in the, oh, what am I trying to say? This is not what's going to be in the newsletter. This is part of it, but this needs to be cleaned up. This was just mine. I was just getting ready to show you another sample. But, you know, so all you have to do on some of them is just cut them out, and then you're ready to go. So this is sized for this full page, and we're gonna make a flap out of it, you guys. We're gonna make it flip flap in there. Now, you know what I decided I was going to try? Somebody asked me not long ago about using the tab binding method, and if you could just do single pages. And I thought, you know what, that'd be kind of a fun idea, and so I'm going to do that. I might make a cover for the whole thing, but I think that would be fun just to, you know, do some pages together. So that's why I've only got one page printed out here. And I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. You know, cutting these straight lines off is going to be a lot easier if I just use my paper trimmer, right? Thanks, Sue. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Welcome on in. We're just doing a tiny bit of sample crafting while I am trying out something new this time. I think it'll be fun. Have any of you ever done that and used the tab binding method and just put like pages together? Now this page, and because it's going to be kind of a, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of them, and so this is just that very lightweight cardstock, and so I think that'll work really great. Oh shoot, I wish I would have scored it before I didn't even think about that. Oh, this has got one edge on this. You know what, I'm gonna trim that little bit off. Well, we could ink it. I'm gonna leave it because I've already got to figure out where my halfway point is. I hope that it is right around 5 1/4. No, it's not. It's about 5 3/8. And that is what I wanted to know. So let's see. So that's 1/4, 3/8. Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm having to do the math. Whew. The measuring math. Oh my goodness, we always laugh about the measuring math, don't we? Okay, and actually I should have done it the other way because my page is going to fold this direction. But you know what? I really kind of like to score on both sides anyway, because then you've got a nice crease, especially when you're doing something a little bit heavier. Okay, so now we've got this. It's going to be a pocket, or not a pocket, a flap. Oh my goodness, you guys. Don't you love it? It looks like a piece of crumpled up grocery bag. I love it. And actually I have a couple of colors, 2 different colors on here. I was sampling. One's a little bit darker, and the nice thing about this is no matter which way I decide to attach this, all I have to do is flip it. One side's a little bit lighter than the other. So I thought that would be kind of fun to have this real basic plain color to add in with some of this. It doesn't detract from the colors. So let's give it a tiny bit, well, maybe we'll give it a tiny bit of color on the edge. You guys, what in the world? Oh, there it is. I picked up another one and sat over the top of it. But there it is. What are you guys doing today? You know, I'm going to be back on again. It's First Friday sale day over in the Crafty Bunch group, and I'm going to be on again at will be 4:30 Eastern, so 3:30 Central. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make one of the other little journals, the little Papercraft social journals. I'm going to make one that's just well, actually it's just a little folio, and I'm going to make that and then offer that for sale. But then I'm going to be talking about the Papercraft subscription that I've got, the oh gosh, so many words. So many words crammed into this brain. Hey, Susan. The Paper Voyage. There you go. The Paper Voyage is my new subscription. And then each month you get one of the journals or folios or some type of a fun paper craft ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do both sides of this. Yeah, and I love this color on this ink with this crafty paper color. I want to know what kind of tool do you use for doing your inking on your edges? Do you use one with the wooden handle? Do you use one of these brushes? Do you use something else? Some people have those big round brushes that are the ergonomic ones that are large. I don't have one of those. They look really easy to use, and I want to try to do that. You guys, because this is going to show, I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this other part of this edge. And that'll kind of help, I don't know, I think it'll just give it a little bit more dimension. And because that glue tab is going to show. When we open up the flap, it's going to show. But yeah, tell me what you guys use for your blending tool for edging. Hey Gina, how are you doing? Welcome. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to go ahead, as long as I've got this out here, I'm going to go ahead and cut this pocket out and get it ready. So this is like a pocket that's the full width, and we've got, now it's a little bit long. I'm going to cut that off a little bit. So we'll just trim this all up. I'm going to get this part off, and then I'll go back and use some smaller scissors to get that section. Okay, tell me, I'm curious about what you guys use for your inking tools. You know, before we had things with the handles, who remembers when we just had to use little sponges? Do you guys remember that? Who remembers just having to use a sponge? I tell you. Oh, I forgot this part. And sometimes I was not very good just using the single sponge method. Not at all. That was kind of a fail. Okay. So you can tell that the background pages are this real soft look to them. And so they're pale enough. These are light enough that, you can write on them and you wouldn't have any trouble. If you like to use your journals for, writing and journaling in, this would be, the perfect thing to have, because it's not going to compete with your writing. And you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just score this on here. I'm going to score to the inside of my mark so I don't have to see that. Hey Judith, welcome. How are you doing? We're just doing a quick little project today. Okay, so then we'll just fold these all up. You guys, I love, even if I do it myself, I love having things that I can just grab real quick and, get something made. That's why I like having these things that, that are kind of, printables, that are collections that have the other goodies in them. I mean, we can all make our own pockets and all that kind of stuff, but when you've got something that is sized and ready to go, to me that's a bonus, because I don't have to really, think about it and spend time doing it. Sue says she has a bunch of different inking tools. What's your favorite, Sue? I know you do. I'm sure you do. Not surprised, don't we all? Oh my gosh, you guys, I had to stop somewhere. I was looking for something I needed and ran over to Hobby Lobby real quick, and when I was checking out, well, as I was going by, I saw two fairly large rubber stamps, and I thought, oh, I love having kind of large rubber stamps. Oh, I wish I had them sitting right here and I'd show you. I like to use them sometimes for background, and one was all like a script. The whole stamp was a script, and I bet it's about 4 inches by maybe 5 or 6 inches, and it's all script. And then the other was like a postcard. And I thought, how fun would that be to just use it in black ink and just stamp it like even on any kind of a, you know, printed paper. Judith, well, welcome. She says it's her first time with us. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get these in. And move these out of the way. I know. The measurements sometimes are challenging, and I think that's one reason that it's kind of fun when you can find something that's already put together and, you know, it's been thought out, and, you know, you don't have to think about it. Okay, so if this is like this, and I'm gonna see, and I think I'm gonna use the lighter colored side. Look, you know, remember all of the close to my heart cardstock that was like two-tone? I guess I've basically made my piece of paper two-tone. So I've got a lighter side and a darker side. I think because all of this is so pale that I do want to use the lighter side. That was so funny. I didn't really think about it until I got ready to put it on here. Okay. You know, that was one of the things that Stampin' Up! Took over from Close to My Heart, was that double-sided, that two-tone cardstock. And I love it. It's like getting, you know, two pieces for one, right? You like the brush best. Me too. Hi, Pam. I like those best too. Okay, I think I'm going to try and line up just at the edge. Then I fold it over and make sure I've got it at the edge. Boy, I tell you what, I don't have a lot of wiggle room with that glue I use. Some, just enough. You can see I just had enough time to move that over. Okay, so now then, we've got this fun little flap, and we can decorate that. But then, and I love how it just kind of peeks out so you know that something else is back there, right? I know, Susan, I thought so too when I saw that, you know what, let me grab it real quick and I know exactly where I set them. Hang on one second and I'll show you these two because they're rubber stamps. And rubber stamps give the best impressions. And I tell you what, the one thing that I was most surprised about was the price. So again, these were from Hobby Lobby, and look at this. This is one of them. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? And this one was only $5.49. I don't even know how they can do that. And then here was the other one that looks like a postcard. Isn't that cool? Wouldn't that be fun to use? And it was just $4.99. But those are both really large. So they are, I'll do it here in the corner so I can do it quick. This one's about well, no, that's not going to be true because that stamp isn't as big as the block. Oh my goodness, you guys, if I could ever pick up this thing and it be the right way. So that's about 4 by 3. So that's still a nice size stamp. And this one is almost the full thing. So it's about 5 from where the print is, about 5 1/4 to a little over 4. Can you believe that? I could not believe that kind of a price on those. I don't really like having the wooden blocks. They take up so much room. But when you've got those big stamps like that, you can put those down and then, you know, rub something on them. They make kind of cool tools. I don't see where mine is. I've got one that looks really fancy. It's like a big crystal doorknob thing, and it's like a little wooden platform, and so you can, you know, swirl it around on there and give it some pressure so you don't have to do that so long. Diane, hey, how are you? She says she thinks she has a stamp like that with script. Yeah, I tell you what, I just love them. I love a little bit of script. And you can tell in the pages for this collection, I've got a little bit of script and a little bit of text. I've got a little bit of everything in here, right? You got to make it interesting, you guys. So again, if you're not getting my newsletter, yeah, just get it onto the newsletter list. And so they come out on Sundays. I'm just going to put this down here. It's a little bit smaller than clear across there, and I don't mind. I am going to bump it clear to the bottom. Well, no, well, almost. I'll just center it on there. So it's got a little bit of room. Whoops. I guess I better hold it on till it sticks, right? Hey, Mary, how are you doing? Penny, welcome. Well, like somebody else said something. What did somebody said about? Oh, Susan, that really is a clever idea. Making your own little postcard things out of kids' photos to send to family or as thank yous. That's a fun idea. I love that. I really do. Thanks for that. Okay, and now, ta-da! Here's one of the printables from the collection. And these could be, oh shoot, I was gonna run this through again. And here, let me turn it this way first. I was gonna put that paper bag look on the back of these, but I didn't. I forgot. And you know, when you can make your own printables, you know, you don't always need to do every page double-sided, right? And so you can pick and choose what you plan to use it for and what pages you want to, you know, trim off. So I'm just going to line this up in the track and just hold it tight, and then I can cut these apart. But these are 3x4, so you know a 3x4 is that's a nice little card size to have. No, this is not from the cottage, Diane. This is from the printable set in the newsletter that is coming out all this month. And in my group, the Adventurers Rendezvous, they get some extra things that go with the collection. And as we move forward, they'll get the whole collection right up front. So I'm kind of a little, you know how it is sometimes with new ideas, it takes you a little bit longer to get them implemented and running the way you want, right? Or is that just me? Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna trim these off. You know, I just like, if I can use my paper trimmer and just get some big pieces cut right off, I like to do that and not have to just use scissors, because I know it's gonna be a straight line, right? Although I will say, Diane, you are not always confused. We'll talk about it. And in fact, when I do my Friday sale, my first Friday sale, even though it's the second Friday, you know, last Friday, the first Friday this month was the 4th of July. So over in the Crafty Bunch, we decided to, you know, just have it today instead, right? And so these are little, you know, these look like little postage stamps. Wouldn't you love to have some postage stamps that look like that? I would. So that would be fun. And I don't know, I mean, you know, you can decorate these and just put something on the front if you want to. You can, you know, just make journal cards and tuck them in here. You know, just everything. And that's the nice thing about printables. It gives you so many options of what you might want to do or how you might want to use it. I'm just going to use my scissors and just give this a tiny trim. You know, I don't know what has happened to my... You guys probably think I don't know where anything is ever, right? I'm always losing it. But you know, I had a corner rounder, and you know what? Usually the amount that I round these corners, there's no corner rounders that are only doing this tiny amount. So, I don't know. How many of you guys like your corners rounded. Would you rather have corners rounded or squared? Sound off. Sound off. Go. I just like to put this on, and then I'm going to give them a little ink. And one of the things, if you don't have, if the back of your cards, now one thing about these is because they're plain on the back, they would be great to journal on or make some lists. A lot of people say, well, what in the world would you do with a, with a junk journal? Or, you can use it as kind of a little scrapbook. Put, my goodness, print out some pictures, you guys. Get them off your phones. Print out some pictures and put them in. You could have a tiny little book like this. You don't have to have like giant scrapbooks. And I love having little books that are something special about, like maybe it was an event you went to. Maybe it was kind of like a little mini vacation and you've got some pictures from that. I think it's just so fun to put them all together and have a sweet little thing where you can just grab it and look at them. You guys, I've noticed that my granddaughter who lives here, I've seen her more than once pull out some of the photo albums here, or scrapbooks, or whatever they are, and kind of peruse those. And I think that's kind of fun because most of mine are here, and most of the family doesn't live here, so they're not usually looking at them ever. Now, one of the things you can do, because this is plain on the back, if you want to just give it just a little bit of something on the back, just give it a tiny little, as long as you're going around the corners or the edges, just gives it a little bit on the back, and it won't just be completely naked back there. I probably should not have said that. I never even said that and got in trouble once. They shut down my video. Whatever. Pam likes hers rounded. Sue likes hers rounded. Sue prints some of her vacation photos. That's great. I'm glad to hear that because, we always hear of so many people that don't do anything with them. They just live on their phones. And nobody else can enjoy them if they're only on your phone, right? So we got to get them off of there. Get them off of there and enjoy them, people. Our oldest daughter bought my husband I can't remember. She bought it for somebody else at Christmas. Maybe it was her daughter. Maybe it was her grandson. She doesn't live down here, and he does. And I think she got this, one of those digital frames. And somehow she can hook up to it, Wi-Fi and internet, and she can add other pictures on. I'm like, that's cute. And I think she can see the pictures that they put on. So my husband thought that was kind of cool, so she ended up buying him one as well. I don't even know what kind of pictures. And then the granddaughter who lived here, she helped him get it set up. So for now, I'm just going to stick these here in this pocket. Now we need something on here. Let's put something on there. Let's set these aside. The round emoji queen. Let's find one of these and put on here. What should we put on here? Well, this is kind of cute because this is actually what this page is. Can you see that this is the same print? It's just, more color. Maybe I'll use that one. That's kind of cute. Let's do it. I'm going to use bigger scissors. Okay. And so always when you're cutting things, when you're fussy cutting, turn your paper, not your scissors. And that way it's easier to get nice, even cuts as you go along. So I always feel like I'm kind of preaching to the choir when I give, hints out. But you know what? You never know. There might be somebody new to paper crafting. And they like having the little hints, right? Okay, and then let's let's just go ahead and frame it up a little bit with some more ink. Wondering how long I can get by with using the same ink pad. I don't know. Have any of you had to ever refresh your Distress Oxide ink pad? I'm curious. I am very curious. Okay. Oh, Judith says she got one for her birthday. Cool. Hey, Cecilia, how are you? And Ava, Amanda, Janet. Look at all kinds of people who've popped in. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm just going to put it right here in the center because that's where I think it should go. So let's go ahead and get that glued on. Now, if it was a card or something, you know, you could use this element and pop it up a little bit with a dimensional, a little foam dimensional. That'd be cool. That is so true. Martha says she's not new, but she's always learning new tips. That's very true. We always do. And sometimes we learn tips that we knew and we forgot, right? That's me anyway. Okay. So, you know, I mean, and actually this would be kind of a fun, it's an easy folio, right? It's kind of large though, kind of wide. You wouldn't have to make it this wide, but I like it. So this one needs a little help though. Remember on the edge of this one, I said I was going to just leave that paper, the paper border white. But you know what? Look at this. I'm just going to ink that up and it'll be fine. And then it'll make me glad I didn't go back and trim it some more. Okay. Inking is like a magic trick for paper crafting, right? It's a magic trick. Oh, Diane. Part of the problem with that is I don't know. Yeah. And you guys, she said that she saw somebody spray one of their pads that needed a little bit of a refresh with some water and turn it upside down. And you need to be really careful if you're adding water to any of your products, that if they're a water-based product and you are adding any water, make sure, please, please, please make sure that you are using distilled water. Because if you're not using distilled water and, you know, and you need to, you know, you need it to, what was I going to say? I don't know. You need it for something. You don't want it to get any kind of things from just tap. And this is so gross because it's really gross to think that using tap water could potentially add things into your product that can make them grow mold and other icky stuff. It's just like, that's just so gross. But, you know, it is what it is, right? Hey, Joan, how are you? Yes, tips. There's always tips we forget. You're right about that. So again, you guys, I just want to urge you, if you like to get free printables and you want to, you know, a new collection every month, each part of it goes out each week. And the other part of that is then there's going to be a link in each newsletter to the part of the collection for that month that you missed. And so this week then we'll also have a link to the ones that are the friendship collection, because finally we're going to have that coming up in I can't do two things at once. We're good. I can't tell all this stuff. Oh, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Anybody listening enough, they know where we were in that silly story. Okay. Yeah, and you know, if you back your card, or if you back this piece of paper with a different print, then you know that would take care of it being, you know, all white on the back. So it just depends, and you don't have to. You don't have to ink the edges. A lot of people don't like inked edges. They like, you know, everything to be crisp and clean, and that's just totally a personal preference, you guys. Oh, well, thank you. Thanks, Joan. I'm glad you do. And if if you're worried about getting on the email list and just being bombarded with stuff, I don't. Usually that Sunday summary newsletter that goes out is the only email that I send out all week. So, you know, don't worry about that. Unless it was something that was going to be super important and urgent, that's the only one that goes out. So it's just a simple read, just kind of what's coming up this week, what, you know, if there's any project information that needs to be shared from the week before, just things like that. And then, of course, the free gift that's the printables each week. So, and then we like to kind of do something and use our things together, right? Janet, right? Oh my gosh. Were we at the friendship collection? Okay, Pam. Thanks. The friendship collection is going to be used in my journal over in the Junk Journal Jamboree, because we put that off for a week to be able to, we didn't really want to compete with other things that were going on in another group. We had so many people that were participating in a benefit for all week, and so we didn't really want to, you know, have another event over there. And so what we did was we put that off. And so the Junk Journal Jamboree, we have journals that we work on. Every presenter can make whatever they want. They just have to have that theme. This theme is friendship. And so then we use our journal, we work on it so people can watch us work on it from start to finish. And so this time it's going to be in July, August, and September. And so next Tuesday we'll be starting the friendship theme. And so I had just gone ahead and made a collection that I call the Friendship Files. So so I thought they were fun. They're fun. So you have access to those when you sign up for the email too. And in the newsletter, there's going to be a link. I made there's a secret page on my website so that those things can have links there and people can go there and not, that's where we're going to put them. They're going to be there. It's going to be like the secret treasure chest, right? So, oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, I'm going to let you go. And I have had fun with you. Thanks so much for joining me today. And I will see you next time. Actually, I'm going to be live again at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central. So pop on by if you can. I'll talk to you later, you guys. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful afternoon, okay? Bye-bye.